In 1998, Gran Turismo forever changed the face of racing video games as the first racing simulator on PlayStation 1. The next year, Gran Turismo 2 raised the bar even higher. It was an instant success that appealed to gamers and car enthusiasts worldwide. In 2001, Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec debuted with PlayStation 2, taking realistic graphics and precision to a whole new level. Gran Turismo 4 came along and pushed the limits even further, racing far beyond everyone's expectations with more than 700 cars and 50 tracks. And now, on the eve of Gran Turismo's 10th anniversary, Polyphony Digital is just hours away from unveiling the newest version of PlayStation's signature franchise at the 2007 Tokyo Game Show, Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. Legendary game creator Kazunori Yamauchi is working until the last minute to fine-tune each car before GT5 Prologue makes its official debut. Such attention to detail is what made Gran Turismo the industry standard, with over 47 million copies shipped worldwide. But in Kazunori's eyes, it isn't just evolution, it's the only way to reach his ultimate goal: revolution. The Tokyo Game Show is the biggest video game event in the world. Kazunori knows that a strong showing is vital to getting both GT fans and the media fired up. So he places even greater pressure on himself to deliver something that he himself is proud of.
よく眠れる日の方が珍しいんだけれども、その理由はね、やっぱり常にグランツーリスモのことがすごい気になって仕方がない。9時半。本当は GTR から離れていかなきゃいけないのに先頭がなんでどうしようかな。ちょっとさ、俺さ、後で運転してさ、何でメモしようか。自分でゲームを作る機会に恵まれた時、これは1993年ぐらいのことだったと思いますけれども、その時に出した、企画、全部で僕そうですね、100個ぐらいは企画を考えたと思いますね。企画書を作ったと思いますけれども、その最初の企画書がグランツーリスモでした。
Kazunori and his team worked diligently to make each new iteration of Gran Turismo more realistic and robust than the previous one. When Gran Turismo first released on PlayStation 1, many gamers weren't ready for it. They were used to arcade-style racing games. But Kazunori's passion for the automobile kept him true to his vision of creating the ultimate driving simulator.
Style レーシングゲームばっかりだということはよく分かっていて、ゲームとしてたくさんのオーディエンスを獲得するためにはそうでなければいけないと思ってましたね。ただ僕自身はね、そうではないリアルなドライビングシミュレーターが作りたかったものですから、分かってくれる人が分かってくれればいいというつもりでグランツーリスモを作った。
At first, Gran Turismo's popularity caught the entire automotive industry off guard. But once they saw that gamers were forming large enthusiast clubs around the cars inside the game, car manufacturers quickly realized Gran Turismo's potential to promote their brands. Collectively, they rushed in, working closely with Polyphony Digital to perfect their cars not only in the game, but in real life as well.
そこで初めて僕は自動車メーカーの代表に電話をして、これからゲームを作りたいっていう話をして、そこからコミュニケーションが始まったわけです。冷たくされたというよりも、自分がやりたいことをまず伝えるのが一番難しかったんですね。だからようやくGT4 の頃になって、僕らにしかできないことというのを自動車メーカーの皆さんが理解してくれて。
Before
before the Evo was even sold here, there were people coming up to me telling me how much they love the car, and I said, how do you know? You've never driven it. It's not sold here. They said, well, I drove it on my Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo's influence reached far beyond the PlayStation and gaming in general. It stretches out into the real world, with Polyphony Digital giving car manufacturers valuable input during the design process. Kazunori and his team were responsible for designing the first ever multifunction meter on the brand new Nissan GTR.
まあ例えば GTR に関して言うと、やっぱり GTR を開発している、エンジニア、開発しているドライバー、そういう人たちと僕たちは、まあ個人的にも友達の関係にあって。
Nissan and Polyphony Digital built a strong relationship that ultimately manifested itself at the 2007 Tokyo Motor Show, when the GTR was simultaneously unveiled in real life and in Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. This unprecedented partnership gave enthusiasts worldwide a chance to drive the car before it even hit the streets.
The influence of Gran Turismo to old car enthusiasts, younger, new import enthusiasts alike, I think it's far-reaching, and it's a good thing.
Gran Turismo enthusiasts are all over the world, and every year Kazunori catches up with them by traveling to SEMA, the world's largest automotive specialty trade show.
We're here at the SEMA show in Las Vegas.
Gran Turismo's influence is readily felt within each of the tuned-out cars. Kazunori carefully inspects each car, ultimately choosing one that he deems worthy of being immortalized in Gran Turismo 5. It's an honor of the highest order.
See yourself in the next version of Gran Turismo 5. It's going to be pretty cool. All I can do is thank all of the Gran Turismo franchise for looking for the detail and inspiring us to build a better and better product every year. It's going to push us harder in the years to come to try to keep our level growing at the rate that the game is going.
Actually, when my son first saw it yesterday, it's like he said, he got a bit misty-eyed over the whole deal, because it is a big deal. It will put us in front of an audience that we could have never ever reached before. It's just cool because it is the car. It drives the way the car drives. It does everything that we ever could have imagined it would have done.
Also, what Gran Turismo allows you to do is allows these guys to drive some of the classic cars of yesteryear without actually having to go find one. I've never driven a Chaparral, but thanks to Kazunori, I've actually now felt like I piloted one, and it was great. I loved it.
In GT5 Prologue, Kazunori put extra emphasis on enhancing the beauty of the cars, the tracks, the scenery, and all the finest, most minute details. His single-minded determination to pay proper homage to the cars is born from his childhood obsession with the automobile, something he never quite outgrew.
車に興味を持ったのは、まあ、4歳ぐらいの時ですけど、自分でね、あ、俺は車が好きなんだなって自覚したのはどうだろう、8歳ぐらい。Z、それからホンダの S2000、メルセデスの SL55AMG、それからポルシェの GT3、それとフォード GT が2台ですね。まず物の形として、僕が自動車の歴史上一番気に入っている形だったりとか、まあ何しろ一番大きな活躍した時代っていうのはね、僕がちょうど生まれた頃、まあ24時間レースで活躍してきたんで、まあそれもあって好きになったと思います。
As Gran Turismo evolved closer and closer to reality, its fan base grew beyond just enthusiast gamers or tuners. Inevitably, professional race car drivers from Formula One to drifting began embracing it as well.
まあ言ってみれば、その芸術点をどうやって採点するのかというところにそれなりの心を砕いて作ってますからね。だから、そういう意味では真面目に競技としてドリフトを捉えようとしているんじゃないでしょうか。
Hi, I'm Trainer Faust, and I race drift cars and rally cars and pretty much anything I can get my hands on. so much of the experience with all the vehicle dynamics that are portrayed in the actual simulator that it can get the hook in people. And once the hook is in them, they'll go out and get themselves some sort of rear-wheel drive car and start practicing on their own. The hardest thing to get off of a two-dimensional screen is that feeling of acceleration. One thing that Gran Turismo is very good at is somehow relating that to the person playing it. The way that I'm picking it up is by the nose dipping, like when the car shifts or when I brake, the nose dips down, and I can almost feel that more grip is being moved to the front of the car and it starts to rotate, and you can then connect that to the steering wheel, and all of those things kind of come together to give you a good 85–90% of the sensations that you get in real life. People that have gotten really good in the simulator will be the quickest learners once they get in the real car. And those are the ones that I've got to look out for, frankly. I've only been in the drifting sport here for 3–4 years. This next generation is coming up out of the woodwork. And these whippersnappers are, they're going to be tough to beat.
Gran Turismo's pursuit of reality doesn't stop with the cars themselves. For the first time, players can now race up to 16 cars in online race mode to achieve real racing dynamics. Polyphony Digital also makes equally exhaustive efforts to replicate every last detail of the tracks.
Once I became a professional driver, I actually used the game to learn tracks and reaffirm what I remembered about bumpy spots on tracks and things like that.
In order to achieve this level of precision, Polyphony Digital sends a team to various racetracks around the world, where they spend 2 months painstakingly taking anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000 photographs of each track.
写真を撮ったり、ビデオで映像を撮ったりすることと、あとその建物やコースのサイズ、道路の高さ、白線なども計測します。
I used some of that research that was done to learn the track, and it was very, very realistic. They even had the same oak tree that you look for when you're coming out of the corkscrew, a lot of the same bumps.
コース自体を作り終わってから、リプレイカメラをつけて車が走ってそれがどうコース上で見えるかという状態まで持っていきます。
And the thing that I gained the most out of it was probably the feeling of going down and up hills and how that affected your braking zones. I wasn't expecting to really learn when to brake.
Polyphony Digital designers have to walk a fine line. Their challenge is to make the game as realistic as possible. However, if they make it too real, gameplay will be sacrificed. And with production deadlines looming, Polyphony Digital's creativity is tested daily, as they constantly search for the perfect balance between beauty and functionality.
数段できるんですけど、前の時よりはいいよね、2台でそうなるのに過程がちょっとゆっくりです。
グランツーリスモというのは常に総合的なタイプの車のモデリングじゃないですかね。
Every Gran Turismo release has given Kazunori a chance to break new ground, set new standards. And now, with PlayStation 3, Polyphony Digital has the freedom to raise the bar dramatically, as they have a much larger canvas to fill. And with each stroke, they get closer and closer to Kazunori's ultimate vision.
っていうかな、なんかちょっと冷たいんだけどな。
今度の場合は、そのまま CAD データが、ゲームに投稿するということは、データが膨大なためできません。
でテクスチャーもちゃんと最初に並べただけでよしたからだいぶ
4の時は、テクスチャーである程度表現していた部分も多かったんですが、GT5 プロローグに関しては、モデルとあとシェーダーの調整によって、質感付けを全て行っております。
A big part of Polyphony Digital's success is how they managed to squeeze so much performance out of the PlayStation hardware. After all, the PS3's cell processor technology provides an exponential increase in processing power. In GT5 Prologue, the view from the cockpit has been completely revamped. Accurate gauges track your progress in real time, and to push it one step further, even the driver's hands and arms are precisely animated.
Interior 含めて、5ヶ月から6ヶ月かかっています。GT4 の時と比べると、5倍から6倍になります。
Given his lifelong love of the automobile, Kazunori knows firsthand how heartbreaking it is to see your car damaged.
だからそのゲームの中に、ある意味苦しいことをわざわざ入れる、厳しいことをわざわざ入れるということに対しての心理的な抵抗は、今でもあるんだね。
Ultimately, he had to make a tough decision for GT5 Prologue. Do you add damage to the cars and sacrifice their beauty? Or do you maintain the look of both the cars and the game and not have any damage at all?
結果としては車の美しさを表現するっていうのはまず最初のプライオリティでしたから、僕らは車が壊れないという選択肢を選んで。
With less than an hour to go before the debut of the Tokyo Game Show, the team does one last run-through with the latest version of the game code. The game's toughest critic, Kazunori himself, is finally satisfied. For him, this isn't work. Rather, it's a passionate labor of love that manifests itself as sheer determination to create not just art, but to ultimately give you the drive of your life. Now that he's pleased, it's time to unveil Gran Turismo 5 Prologue to the media. This doesn't mean the wheels stop turning for the team back at Gallipoli Digital. They continue pressing on, working toward the full and final release of GT5.
The totally artistic nature of the game just blows me away. It's just not the track. It's so much deeper than that. And to me, the driving never gets old, so Gran Turismo will never get old.
Even after 10 years of hard work to ultimately deliver the best possible Gran Turismo experience, Kazunori knows he has many miles to go before he'll truly be satisfied.
いやまだですね。だからまだ10%、15% ぐらいなんじゃないかと僕は思います。
Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, racing beyond the apex. In 1998, Gran Turismo forever changed the face of racing video games as the first race.